Waadaplaya concussion sub series. We are going to review the India versus South Africa one day international. Guess what? Compared to 2021, 2022 start for Team India has been slightly disastrous. We lost the Test series 2-1. Unfortunately, this Friday is not great for Indians. We got dropped by South Africa. Absolute hammering in the second one day international. We got one dead rubber left, but India looked pretty jaded. So let's talk about what happened today and how India ended up this situation and how come South Africa is to pump. Rishabh's back into action, and welcome back, Sharda.
Hi, thank you, Suman.
Excellent. So, what is going on with Team India, Sharda? Why don't we start with you? Is this just a yips syndrome, like they say, the temporary loss of skill set of sportsmen, or what exactly is happening?
I think it has some relation to what is happening outside the field. The sudden resignation of Virat Kohli as the Test captain, and suddenly the players realize that they are going to miss playing under someone as aggressive, as passionate, as Virat Kohli. So there is a lot to deal with on that front. And yes, as you said, it is quite disappointing because India is a side that is known to. Have a lot of variety, whether it's in its batting or bowling. So we had our spinners, Chahal especially did really well, and Jasprit Bumrah also firing. But I'm seriously surprised with some of the selection of the playing 11. For example, Siraj, who did really well in whatever he played in the Test series, being left out for Bhuvneshwar Kumar. We know that Bhuvneshwar Kumar is an excellent bowler, but the thing is that he is coming back from a lot of injuries and he's certainly not stepping up to that pace as expected. So that was a surprise for me, the starting playing 11. And the other thing is that the field set and the attitude with which the Indian cricketers have played in these two ODIs has been not really up to the mark. It's like even when you saw three wickets were down in today's game, and 50 or 60 odd runs were required, we saw the field spread out. Had we had they were Vander Dussen and Markram were relatively new to the crease, and putting in one or two more fielders inside the circle definitely would have added to a lot of pressure. But we seemed to give away those freebies, easy singles, as well as a lot of boundaries were considered. And the fielders, the position at which a good fielder stands is really important. Ravichandran and Ashwin, as we all know, is not someone who is usually used in the outfield. But I was a bit surprised, to see him doing the sweeper cover region, covering deep mid wicket region for the first two games. And someone like a Virat Kohli, who has an excellent arm and covers a lot of ground very quickly, standing inside the circle. So these small tactical things, go a long way. And one more thing I wanted to mention: when Shardul Thakur, got you that first wicket, I thought he should have bowled a lot more overs, at least two or three more, because he was in decent rhythm. And suddenly, I don't know what made KL Rahul, cut him off and bring out a bowling change. So when Thakur came back for the second spell, he was not really up to the mark. And I think these things, a lot of tactical things, a lot of things that is happening outside the field are letting down, and it's really showing on the performance of these Indian players.
It's a great summary, Sharda. And Anil Jain joined in. No show cause notices for joining in late in Waadaplaya concussion subsidy. So don't worry about it. Uh, Anil, so one point which Daryl Cunningham also pointed out, and Sanjay Dubey mentioned in our first ODI, that looks like India body language seems pretty jaded and down. Is it what, bubble fatigue, or what? How do you summarize this?
Uh, I think it can't be bubble fatigue per se because most of the playing 11 haven't played so much of test match. I mean, the last test match series against South Africa, it looks like whatever has happened between the players, between the board. I mean, there was a show cause notice to Virat Kohli. I mean, right? So it all brings down morale some other way. Not necessarily, okay, is my future secure or no, but just that, okay, something is happening in the team. That's never a good sign. But what I feel, if I have to look at the first two matches, is that the Indian board or Indian management hasn't realized uh, this one simple batting order. It's been happening since ages. I can't even remember. Your first top three is your best batting lineup, right? Why do you have that? We have seen cases again and again where once they fail, the entire match goes away. So why can't we have Kohli at three, Rohit Sharma at fourth, and KL Rahul at fifth? Let's have Dhawan. Let's have Pant opening up. Let's have Prithvi Shaw. Let's have Gaikwad. Let's have Shreyas Iyer or Surya Kumar Yadav. It's not red ball cricket. In a red ball cricket, you need to play the new ball to make the ball softer and things like that. But for an ODI, you can start off, in the first over itself, and you don't need to wash the ball. You don't have to make the ball softer. So if you have your batting order, and because we have done well in 2011 till 2013, because we had Raina and Dhoni, these are beasts when it comes to middle order batsmen. We don't even have anyone as close to him. We have Shreyas Iyer, we have Surya Kumar, we have Venkatesh Iyer. All are good players. But where are the statistics? Where are the records? Where's the experience? And this is what has actually led the team down. I don't even remember when the last Indian batting order scored 300 runs. Even Zimbabwe is scoring 300 runs. If you don't have a scoring in your first inning, don't expect your bowlers to come and defend on such a pitch. So that's all my take on the match. In the first match, in the second also, you lose your top order, you're gone. That's it. That's a simple thing for Indian ODI series,
Yeah.
and that's what they are not able to realize. I mean, they are not even able to settle the. I have no reason why KL Rahul should still open. Why is he supposed to open? Why can't he bat at fourth and fifth?
Some valid concerns Anil is raising, and the results are reflecting. We got Mithun joining in from Vancouver, Canada. How cold is it there? You're on mute, Mithun. Still cannot hear you, bro. While Mithun sets up his mic, so Vaishak, let's bring you in. Team selections, India. But we, like I said in the earlier match also, we are heavily biased with India on these shows. But South Africa, outstanding performance. I mean, outplayed us in every department today.
I think both the games they were tactically brilliant. I know we have previously criticized Bavuma, like why he is the captain and stuffs, but I think in these two games he was brilliant. He was tactically brilliant. He was making those changes pretty well. The field he was setting, even the first game, if you see, even in the second game, he was brilliant. He was bringing in the right changes. But even when partnership was growing, he was not panicking. He was trying, like he was trying to drive up the runs. And even when Pant was going good, they made sure that they tied up Rahul from one end. So I think that the way Rahul played, he let Markram bowl around 5 to 6 overs on the trot. I'm not sure if it is because of the captaincy is getting tied down, or if he is not. If it is the usual Rahul, he does not let these kind of part-time bowlers settle. He just goes after them and smashes them out of the attack. So
Yeah,
maybe even if you see, even while he plays for Punjab Kings, he does the same thing. Being the captain, he kind of takes up too much pressure and tries to stay till the end. I don't think that is not the game he possesses. He has to be free. He is a free flowing player, stroke maker. He has to go play his shots. Like that's where if both of them had gone at their own pace, right? Maybe in 30 overs we would have reached 200
mm,
instead of somewhere around 150, 160 where we were.
yeah,
And after that, I think the middle order again, similar pattern. The middle order failed in both the games. But South Africa, again, once they got the opening, they just sneaked through, got quick wickets, and made sure, like in the last 10 overs, we do not have enough wickets to actually capitalize in both the games. So they were brilliant in that aspect. Again, today, while chasing, it was perfectly paced chase. I think the opening batters, they just killed the game. Quinton de Kock, the way he batted in the first 10 overs, I think he was around 40. He scored 46 of the 66 runs in the first 10 overs in just around 30 balls, I think. And he
mm,
just killed the game there.
yeah. In KL Rahul post-match presentation, he says that they are playing. South Africa is playing some really good cricket at home. We're making mistakes as well in the middle, which I agree. Good learning for us. Obviously, not great on losing on two games in a row. Middle order is crucial going into big tournament. We want to get wickets in the middle and create pressure. Yes, it does feel like one of the wickets at home. I don't think the pitch could have been chased down to 80, but they easily did it. I think 50 over game, Shardul, let's bring you in. compared to T20 and one day T20 and Test cricket. I think getting used to a ODI format is also an adjustment, right? Those middle overs is where the game is lost for India both times.
Absolutely. See, and there is one more thing that the South African batters did really well in both these games, especially in today's game. They kept the required rate under control. Had they let go of, played 3 or 4 overs where they just got 2 or 3 runs, the pressure would have been right back on them. The run rate, required run rate, if you had seen, it was always below that 5.7 mark, which is definitely, when as a batter, when you see the scoreboard and that the required run rate is under control, that's a great relief for you. So kudos to South Africa on that. They took very, very calculated risks. For example, Vander Dustin, even when the ball was turning, he played that slog sweep really well, and even Markram as well. They exploited the fields, and Bavuma just took those little risks, playing the sweep shot of Ashwin and even some reverse sweeps as well. And the running between wickets was fantastic. Just the way they went about their business, building partnerships and not losing their way. When a wicket falls, when the other batter comes in, it is well. The intent seems to be there that I need to stay here and finish off the game for us. So that's the way that they were batting, and to keep the run rate in control when you are chasing a score close to 300, it is tricky, and the wicket was turning a lot. It is very easy for you to let go of your required run rate, but they kept it really well under their control by rotating the strike and all. But during the middle overs, what was where it really mattered. They scored those boundaries. And the other thing I would like to mention about them was, they read the lengths really well. For example, when Ravichandran and Ashwin was bowling, when they sensed the ball was turning a lot, they used that back foot punches, wide to extra covers, a lot of boundaries they got in that region. Uh, so I think overall, the South African batters just applied themselves really better. They read the conditions. And yes, they got the job done.
Yep. Let's bring Mithun in. Mithun, are you ready to tell us how cold is it in Vancouver?
Hi, Suman. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, very well.
Yeah. So the weather seems to be getting better. Finally, the cold weather is off. Finally, we see the single digit at least now, from negative to positive. Yeah. So seems to be good. Thank you.
Yeah, great. So, how do you make out of this second ODI? I don't know how much you were able to see with your time zone, but clearly disappointing result. But what do you make out of this?
It is disappointing, but end of the day, eventually we should not dig deep into this bilateral series. So it's all about experimenting and getting your core players some match practice before the big tournaments comes in. Keeping that into mind, we should not jump into conclusion that our middle order is failing or inexperienced. We need to sustain with them, give them some more opportunities, because both the IS are still young. Keeping that into mind, I feel it's good experience for them. Maybe in future they're going to score and make the name for themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, Anil, I think that's another perspective, right? I know we are being critical. Probably we were spoiled for choices because they were winning so hard. But let's give this young team a chance. This is a good experience. So, before that,
So, so what happens? I think the next World Cup is in what, 2023, and we'll give them chance. We don't have so many ODI. So is it going to be Surya Kumar Yadav, or is it going to be Iyer, or is it going to be Venkatesh Iyer? Is it going to be Sanju Samson? Is it going to be Ishan Kishan? You're going to keep experimenting, right? So why don't you fix your middle order? Middle order is your main concern. We are not playing good enough. Could it be it's test match, or is it T20 or ODI? Our middle order is not performing well anywhere. So why can't we have a star batsman playing the middle order? Fix that issue. And for openers, you have Shikhar Dhawan or you may have Rohit Sharma. So one side it's fixed, right? And the other person, I mean, look at Quinton de Kock, right? Even if he would have scored 50 odd those starting runs, it takes the morale out of the bowling unit. So even if Prithvi Shaw plays like that, in Gaikwad plays that kind of an inning, your issue is taken care of. And in terms of experiment, you're just experimenting, giving chances to new young batsmen. That's not exactly an experiment. You're just playing, okay, who's going to perform better. The experiment is going, okay, you're going to change the order, see which person will sit well. I mean, you look at any other playing 11, the World Cup 11, whoever has won World Cups. You always have the middle order as the most strongest one. 2003, Ricky Ponting, Damien Martin. You had Michael Clark. You had Steve Waugh in the middle order. Sri Lanka also, you have Arvinder De Silva. You have Ranatunga. I mean, you name any. Pakistan also, you have Shoaib Malik, Mohammad Hafiz. Your middle order has to be strong. So you can experiment in the order. I mean, you can get any player. All our players are classic A grade players when it comes to domestic tournament. But you don't have so many matches to experiment with. Okay, who's gonna be key in playing level? Rather than fix your middle order issue, and you can play around with who's gonna be slog hitter, who's gonna open up. That's all.
Yeah, and let's spend some time on Pant. Again, outstanding innings. He contributed really well today. He had shots all around the park. Unfortunate that he couldn't get a century in one day internationals. But Vishak, let's bring you in. So, what is this? Is this team selection or batting? What can we attribute this to 2-0 series?
I would say combination of both. First thing, as Sharda already mentioned, it is why was Bhuvneshwar Kumar selected? We know, like I know that Siraj is injured. Maybe they want him to give him more time, but there is still Deepak Chahar in the squad who has been doing pretty well. Why do you select Bhuvneshwar Kumar, who has been lackluster throughout the last 2 years? I do not see any good performances from him, whereas Deepak Chahar has been performing consistently. So, like, why was Bhuvneshwar Kumar picked over Deepak Chahar? That's the first thing. Second thing is Venkatesh Iyer. He has just performed a half season of IPL, and you fast track him into the team and give him debuts in T20s and ODIs. Don't you think it's too early? I feel it's definitely too early for him to be fast tracked into the ODIs and T20s, into the national side at least. He he needs to perform a couple of years in domestic circuit or somewhere before being getting into the Indian side. This is too fast for him. So, like expecting him to come in and perform like this, it's too much of an expectation. First of all, he shouldn't have been selected. And the first game, he being selected as an all rounder, not bowling a single over. I don't know why he was selected. If he was selected for his all round abilities, then and you don't give him a bowl, then rather you would select a batsman in Surya Kumar Yadav and strengthen your batting. There was like even today also, you know that Bhuvneshwar Kumar is going for runs, and when do you give him the ball? Like almost in the 24th or 25th over, and they're like there's no use at this point of time. Actually, he's just filling up some overs here and there. He was just used to fill up overs today. Actually, like for whoever is actually going for runs, you don't need your sixth bowler or somebody to do that job. You at least need him to bowl that 6 to 7 overs, tight spell. At least give what Hardik Pandya was doing when he was at his prime. That's what you need. So, like, definitely some selection blunders there. And why does Rahul have to open? He is not a long term opening prospect because if once Rohit Sharma comes in, he has to bat in at number 4 or 5. So if that is the plan for the World Cup, you don't have to makeshift yourself and play at the opening spot now. You could have easily played someone like Rudraj Gaikwad, who's been scoring hundreds after hundreds in domestic. Give that guy a chance, and Rahul can still bat in the middle order and strengthen the middle order, which is the weakness currently. So like there was definitely some selection blunders. So due to those selection blunders, I feel like the middle order was made weak and the middle order did not perform.
Yeah.
So
Let's bring Mithun in, and he will have an opinion, of course. Sunil Gavaskar made a comment that Rahul did not even captain Karnataka team. How are we expecting him to do India captaincy? Again, you're always positive person. I know you will say give him chance, but what does he have a future for captaincy?
Yes, Suman, definitely. I think Rahul is the next captain of Indian team. Once Rohit Sharma moves out, it's going to be Rahul who is going to take over, or either one of the IRs. But definitely, he has that potential because he has been captaining various teams in IPL too, and he has that knowledge. Only thing is that we need to back him, and the senior players needs to support him and understand that. After every generation passes, the new generation will come and they need to give that support. Just the way Dhoni did to Virat Kohli, and he stood by Virat and he made sure that he learns the game well as a captain and he was behind the stumps and helping out. So similar thing, Virat has to do it now, and he has to guide Rahul and make sure that he learns that he has that potential. And also coming down to what Vishak was mentioning, I completely disagree. Iyer Venkatesh Iyer is not pushed into the international cricket. It's all about the requirement. You don't have that bowling all rounder in your middle order, and you need to back him because now Hardik Pandya is unfit, and you need
But his
someone.
point, but Mithun, his point is that you're not using him as an all-rounder. Na? We understand why
Definitely,
Iyer is the Venkatesh Iyer, but we're not using him as an all-rounder
maybe
to
the
pick
situation in
wickets.
the first match did not give him the opportunity to bowl, but eventually he'll be that bowling all rounder for us. Maybe let him get into the game first and learn the game. By next couple of series, he'll be the player to watch out definitely. But we need to have some patience uh, and should not jump the gun and say that no, they are not capable of playing international cricket.
Yeah, and Shada, one other aspect which many people have been speaking about, and Jagannath Adisesha is also making a point. First stint for Rahul Dravid. How much can he change, or can he change overnight the fortunes? I mean, he's got a big shoes to fill of Ravi Shastri's record. What do you think of Dravid, and what do you think he will be talking to the team now?
It's definitely a long process. It is not something that can happen overnight. It's just going back to the basics and just having a board, just running through your team combinations and sitting with the performance analysts, seeing the lengths and lines in which the bowlers have bowled, whether it's according to the field set or not. A lot of work needs to be done. It's not at all an easy job because when Ravi Shastri was around, that this team definitely looked like a totally different unit with Virat Kohli being the captain of all formats. Now the situation is entirely different. We had Virat captaining for the Test series. Suddenly there was his retirement was announced, and now you have a new captain. So things are not the same. So I think it's not a fair thing to just compare at this stage. It will definitely take some time, but there needs to be some introspection, with respect to the playing 11 and what exactly the role, of each person that needs to be clearly defined. Once Rohit Sharma and Ravindra Jadeja are going to be back, definitely this is going to be a much stronger squad. But as Vishak mentioned, each player's role. When Rohit Sharma is there, KL Rahul has to bat at number 5, and those things must be kept constant. If we are looking at the 2023 World Cup, you need to have a basic idea by this time and build around that. That's what successful captains do, and that's what MS Dhoni did. When way back in 2009, he was building a young squad, but he knew who were all the players he was going to back and who were all the players he was going to play in his playing 11 in the World Cup. So that's the amount of clarity that we require right now. But having said all that, it's at home series. We can definitely expect Rahul Dravid to try out a few new combinations, probably give a chance to Deepak Chahar, Ruturaj Gaikwad to see what are all the options that are available. Of course, you will have Hardik Pandya also coming in to the future, and to build a strong 11. That is one thing, but you need to have a bench that is equally capable of doing the task. In case of any injuries, in case of any fallouts, and unexpected misses from a major tournament and all. So both of these aspects need to be looked into, and definitely that's not going to happen overnight. It's a process, but definitely there will be a lot of introspection, and a lot of players will be given an opportunity. I think definitely in the next game, someone like Rutraj Gaikwad, Ishan Kishan, and Deepak Chahar, they definitely need to play.
Yep, absolutely. And Temba Bavuma in the post-match conference is saying that we did not expect to win the series so easily. So it looks like even South Africa was surprised with Indian performance, understandably so. So, what next for Game Three? Would you guys retain the playing 11 and give the same set another chance, full series, or would you guys bring in the standbys? Any
I think
showcase notices?
Yeah, I think this game not being part of World Super League, right? You are allowed to experiment. If it is part of the World Super League, you have to go and win every match, and you have to play your best 11. So now this is just like any other bilateral series. You can definitely experiment. You can play, like I would say, first drop Bhuvneshwar Kumar, get Deepak Chahar in, and at the top get Ruturaj Gaikwad in, who's been scoring tons of runs, and Rahul has to bat in the middle order. So like those two changes I would definitely do and see like how we go, because I think Ruturaj Gaikwad definitely deserves a chance after all his performances, and Deepak Char definitely has been doing pretty well. It's hard on him to be benched. So that will be the two changes for me.
Absolutely. And the next series is at home versus West Indies after, and I'm sure we will win the series. But Anil and Mithun,
Uh,
last call.
just to just to add to what Vishak said, I would make one more change. Bring in Surya Kumar Yadav or Shreyas Iyer. Just give him an opportunity and see how he is able to do at that spot. So I would make these three changes.
Yeah, Surya Kumar Yadav is surprising why he didn't get a chance because he played. If you look at the rewind of home series versus England when they toured, Sky did a fantastic job. So I'm surprised why, unless he was carrying an eagle, and even Ishan Kishan, like to your point, Rahul could have come number 4 or 5 and pushed Ishan Kishan on opening and probably not have like an bowling combination of Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, probably have Shardul Thakur open. I don't know. But Sharda is absolutely right. Getting that set template is important. Until we get that template, we will be struggling. And I was talking to my wife day before yesterday, where India has gotten themselves into a situation in the past 12 to 18 months is, I know we have 3 or 4 teams we can build out on the bench strength, but in process, I think we are losing our track and getting confused of what is our core top 11. I think that is a problem which we need to quickly address too. Any thoughts on that?
And Suman, one more thing just I want to add. Even if you see over the last 2 years or something, even in the 2019 World Cup, which we reached till the semi-finals, most of the performances, most of the matches we won, we almost won every match and we got into the semi-finals, right? It was the top order which performed, and the middle order had very minimal role to play. When the middle order got a chance, they failed. So it's not that the middle order has started failing now. Our middle order was weak like over the past 3 4 years. It's just being exposed now.
Good point.
So it's just that it's something which needs to be similar case with the test match, which I said right now. It's like our batting frailties were being covered by our bowling, and it has just come up now. So it's a similar thing has just come up in this series as well, that our middle order is not performing, and it's clearly coming up in this series. So this needs a serious look now, and we need to correct this as soon as possible.
Yeah, overall disappointing series for India so far. Overall, both test matches and one day. Hopefully, the last game brings some cheer. We get 10 wicket victory or win by 100 runs or something. But Sharda, Vishak, Mithun, and Anil, thanks for hopping on. Really appreciate it. Hopefully, you wrap up for the rest of the Friday and enjoy your weekend. And folks who are watching and engaged, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate your engagement. It encourages us to bring you more content. We'll be back on third ODI. Thanks for watching.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everyone.
Suman.
Thank you.
Thank you.